Alrighty, and hello everybody, and welcome back to another big review. Yay! So you guys did vote, and Kars won by quite a bit. The vote wasn't up long, so if you want to vote next time, be faster. And then it was followed by Rengoku and then Nanami. So we will get to them eventually. But we're going to take a look at the Kars Nendoroid today. Very excited. We're going to take a look, get them posed up, etc. Alright, but the outside of the box, again, Nendoroids are pretty standard. They all kind of look the same, but what's cool about the Jojo ones is they do have these like light highlights with the part 2 designs and then some of like the actual Jojo text. So it does make them a little bit more unique than other figures. But really simple packaging. What do you expect? We've got the top and we've got the bottom. We'll go ahead and open up. Alright, open them up. You get a nice little Nendoroid ad. You know, smart thinking though. I can't blame him for it. Now the inside of his box is just like a burgundy color. Nothing more to it. Pretty simple. Here is the front of the actual shell inside and the back. Again, just pretty simple standard stuff. Nendoroids typically do have like a separate baggie for the stands and extra joints, and then the instructions as well. All right, but we'll kind of actually look at his stuff inside. I kind of like this other angle, so hopefully you guys like it as well. I think it's an easier way for me to display like Nendoroid pieces since I don't pose them a bunch. But he has a couple layers of plastic protection for both him, his headpiece, and his faces, as well as a tape protecting all of these little pieces. Look at Kars. He's so handsome. I can't lie, I feel like now that I have him, I think it was a little bit of an impulse buy. We do have Joseph and Caesar, so it felt fitting to have him too, but it still feels like, did I really want Kars that much? I don't know. You know what I mean? He, of course, these Jojo Nendoroids always have a little bit of extra movement to him, so he can bend like his elbow on his bicep. Even if his joints are really tough, he technically can do it. Never had one be quite this squeaky. Something happened. His muscle's too buff. He's too ripped. And then he does have where his actual torso can bend back and forth just a wee little bit. He can bend his knees, and then he can twist his feet. Little twisty feet. So, again, these are fairly posable for Nendoroids. I feel like I'm just kind of getting used to posable Nendoroids. I think more of my Nendoroids are posable, like ultra posable, than like, you know, just take their arm out, pop it in, put another arm out, etc. Still, he looks great. The coloring on his hair is fantastic. Nendoroids never really do a bad job for coloring hair, especially when they're darker colors. This is like really well done though, because they got the highlights on top, the lowlights on the bottom, and then like with all the waves in his hair, I think they did this is a really good job. And the braid too, like we've got it lightly dusted on the corners and then deeper on like the inside of the braid. That looks really, really nice. Now, his face, his main face, very fantastic. He's angry because it's Jojo, but he has his super amazing purple eyeshadow and his deep red eyes. He little baby mouth. He's got like his crown, like his headpiece. I don't know what these are really, but he's got his 3 horn crown thingies as well. And I like that they aren't just flat shape. There's a little bit of texture to these horns. You can see it looks like kind of like more man-made, if that makes sense. Oh, you have to put the earrings in. We'll put that in later, but you can see where his earrings are supposed to go. He's got like his scarf and his weird, I forget what those are called, but his little back holders, I guess his shoulder holders. So pretty nice, pretty nice. Lots of details on his little belt and his little undies. Wow, look at all that texture on that little booty thing. He's got his armbands with the little gold accents, and then his little fancy knee plates and purple shoes. His little Mary Janes. Aw, so cute. I can't lie, I don't love all the joints on this. He's literally just muscle, so these joints look really distinct and really awkward. They're not gonna get rid of them, and they're not gonna have a Jojo figure not be like super ultra posable well, super ultra posable, I should say. At the same time, it does look kind of funky because it's all skin. Every single bit of it is skin. Now let's go ahead. We're going to put his earrings in. I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised they weren't just built on to his ears. It seems like something they would do, but oh wow, look how small those are. That's dangerous. Put his little earrings in. Oh, this is hard, especially with my giant, humongous nails. Stop! I'll do it though. I'll do it. Boom. One earring in. This is really difficult. I really wish that they were just in the ears. This is so odd to me that they're not also just in the ears. Oh, you know why? It's because of that headpiece. This is so hard. Okay, you know what? I'll do it later because I'm gonna probably pose him up and stuff anyways, but I wanted you to be able to see it because you're probably gonna have him with the earrings unless if you do him with the head wrap. Now I'm gonna just say this. They should have just put the earrings in all the ears and made this go around the earrings because it would still work on other Nendoroids. You know, they like to have things be versatile, but it would still work if somebody didn't have earrings. And it would just work well for the character who does have earrings. And I don't want to have to attach these all the time. Now, he does come with a couple different accessories, so he can point his fingers. He has, of course, the flat hands. He comes naturally with the fists. He has his cool bracelet knives that he can stab people with. And he has a little squirrel. We're gonna take the squirrel out really quick. Look at the little baby. He's just a little guy. Oh my goodness. This is so cute. I'm assuming one of these hands has a hole in it. So not hold it in his hand, so it can become his hand. I don't remember that scene. It's been a long time since I've watched part 2, but I believe it, you know? He faces. He has 2 extra ones. Probably the best one with the tongue sticking out. This is just a great face to have. This is so good. Like, I can see people just wanting these to have for other figures. So really, really good face. And then the other face, it's just him being angry, him screaming, him fighting. Classic Jojo. These are great faces though, like fantastic faces. Anyways, the only other thing, we do have his wrap. I'll just put a head inside of it. Ooh, that was crunchy sounding. We love a good crunch. There he is. His face perfectly wrapped though with his head wrap. I probably won't be posing him with this, but I did still want to show it on the body. I mean, I think the hair, again, they just do such a good job shading the hair. Nendoroid loves doing hair and then sometimes forgets about the rest. One thing I didn't like is attaching it. In order to attach it here, you have to take the head wrap off, take the face off, and then detach the back piece from the neck joint or the front piece, whatever it kind of gives first, and then you would then put it back into the hair. Now this is not, like, again, super uncommon, but I just like when, for these Nendoroids, when they have like a really fancy headpiece like this, or you know, they have the hair and then the headpiece, if they just come with an extra neck piece entirely, because it's so much more work to take it all apart and put it together, especially with how this is shaped. It's not the end of the world, but it really does suck having to deal with these, especially with how tight these joints get over time if you don't constantly repose them. Anyways, we're gonna get this headless man posed up. We'll do final thoughts. Kars in his full glory. My inspiration for the pose was that he was going on a date with his squirrel hand, so he had to look his best. Some final thoughts for this after posing and dealing with it. Some Nendoroids really aren't fun to pose. And there's a reason why I don't go through and constantly repose them for these videos, because I don't have that kind of time. And this figure is testament to that. His earrings, so hard to pose. I had to take them out of the original headpiece when I first put them in. Midway going through, it fell out again, fell on the floor, almost lost it, found it, and then had to put it back in. And it just popped out at one point when I was posing something else. So very unfortunate. The joints, all of them were very stiff, kind of hard to move. So when you would move something, the rest of the figure might jerk, or that piece would jerk, and then it would maybe be a little bit difficult. And then third, that was really tough with this, his wrist guards. Wrist guards were very hard to take off of his arms, the ones that were originally on there. And then putting on the fighter ones was really hard to put on, not only on the arm itself, but even harder to put the hand on. I showed the fast version of it, but you may have noticed I put it on backwards to stretch it out, and then I took it off, and then I could fit the hand in after like really pushing it in there. So very, very tough to pose. His joints aren't even fantastic, because the more you're moving them around, the more they'll stick out. Like you can see it's like separating here. At certain parts you can see it's where it's separating from the shoulder to the torso. So the joints are really like, I mean, come on. And I can push them back, but then they fall forward again. So it's just a lot of work for me to risk losing an earring. So very unfortunate. However, the paint, really well done. His hair is fantastic. The details on his wrist swords, really, really cool. I showed it a little bit, but there are little circles and divots on the actual swords themselves. So it's very nicely detailed on the actual figure itself. Posing this one was just not nearly as flawless as some other Nendoroids that I have worked with. And that's nothing new for me. I tend to be critical of Nendoroids because I can go from being like some of the easiest or best Nendoroids I've ever dealt with to some of the harder or tougher ones. So, you know, win some, you lose some. Still really like the way he looks. Once he's all together, he still overall looks really well when you just don't look at his arms too closely. So I'm still happy that I have him. But I'll post more pictures of him in this pose particularly on my Instagram at Desunasis. The Joseph and the Caesar are on there, as well as my Jojo, because I have a couple of the Jojo Nendoroids. So if you want to check them out, they're all there. You can find me at all these other places as well. I've got lots of stuff going on. Now, because I'm trying to, obviously you guys know I like to try and post weekly, but you know, how likely does that always happen? Life happens, figures don't happen. But next week, Otakon is coming up, so I will try my best to get something posted. If it doesn't though, I just want to apologize in advance. But I will be at Otakon, so if you want to say hi, just let me know. I'll be there. That's going to bring us to the end. I hope you guys had a great rest of your last week, and I hope you have a great rest of your next week, and I'll see you later. Bye!